Alright, should be all good and live. Hello, everybody. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to the stream. Hope the background music isn't too loud. We're gonna get into some assembly tonight. I'm basically just streaming as long as it takes for me to put together the Forgefiend. So it's not gonna be, at least I assume so. It's not gonna be a very long stream. I'm gonna basically stream this, and then tomorrow, before I go to work, I'm also gonna be streaming some. We'll be streaming some more. So yeah, I got a huge haul from Christmas this year. My family were super big. Like I don't know how they coordinated all of it, but my family got me. It's been my goal for a while for like my. I want to say my third army, technically speaking, my third 40k army, to really dedicate some collection and actually assembly, painting, and hopefully soon playing with my my Chaos Space Marines, specifically the Chaos Space Marines of... Hey, Matthew Gordon. How you doing, man? How you doing? How you doing? Welcome, welcome. The Chaos Space Marines of the World Eaters. I shared on my Twitter, which, by the way, is linked in the description, but I shared on my Twitter and on my Discord community a picture of it. So my family got me a Forgefiend kit, which I'm making into a Maulerfiend. They also got me a World Eaters Corn Berserkers set of 10 Corn Berserkers, 5 Chaos Space Marines, sorry, Chaos Terminators. They also got me the Combat Patrol for World Eaters and Angron, the Primarch. They got me all of that. So basically, I have a whole World Eaters army, like, and then some to put together and paint now. If my pile of shame wasn't already big enough, but now I got a huge set of that to do. So tonight I'm trying to get the Maulerfiend out of the way. I've already put the base chassis together, which the base is literally just the very start of the instructions. It's right there from the deviation between the Forgefiend and the Maulerfiend. And again, I'm going for Maulerfiend because that's what's more appropriate for the World Eaters. A Forgefiend or a Maulerfiend. Death Rabbit, welcome to the stream. How you doing? Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too, my friend. Yes, hope you had a good one. I did. I got, like I just said, I got super lucky. My family coordinated and really came out with a lot of 40k stuff. And again, they got me the Combat Patrol for World Eaters, Angron. I already had Karn, the Betrayer, which I'm currently painting over behind me. And they also got me Corn Berserkers, their own box of 10, and yeah, Chaos Terminators. I've got a whole set to work with now. So yeah, for this stream, I don't think it's gonna be a very long stream. I'm gonna stream how long it takes me to put together the Maulerfiend, and while I do that, chat with you guys about 40k, my plans for this army, which obviously is to assemble and paint it, and just, you know, chill out and have a good stream, have a good time, chat away. So yes, I hope you guys will enjoy, and let's get into it. So I'm it's easier on myself. Yeah, the easy part is it only comes in 2 decently sized brew kits. Yeah, it only comes in 2, so that makes it a lot easier. I was worried when I picked up the box it was gonna be like 3 or 4. But no, it turns out even though it's 2 variations within the kit between the Forgefiend and the Maulerfiend, they only take up 2 sprues. That surprised me. I was expecting there to be a lot more smaller components to this one, but I lucked out. So, with the Maulerfiend, the next pieces I need are 45, 46, and 53 for the back leg. This is the fun part of the game, looking for the little numbers on the sprue kit in the lighting. So how did everybody else's Christmas go? Did you guys get some good hauls? Did you guys get some good stuff? I hope so. I hope so. I hope you all got a good collection of 40k stuff as well. Oh yeah, by the way, non-40k related, my family got me this. My dad got it with the intention of it being put at the top of the stairs, because I live in my setup is I have a downstairs apartment to where my dad's a landowner and he and my mom live upstairs. So technically I still live with them, but I do have my own apartment downstairs. I got my own fridge. You know, I got my own kitchen, bedroom area, that stuff. So I do live technically separate from them. But yeah, but my dad still comes down here to like mess around with like the boiler and stuff. Like, there's plenty of stuff down here he still has to do maintenance and stuff on. So he regularly comes down. And for him, it's been very confusing when he comes down and I'm streaming. For him, he's not sure if I'm streaming or if I have a bunch of lights set up just so I can see what I'm doing better. So he doesn't know. So for him to clear up any confusion like immediately, he's like, why don't you just have like a light? And so that's what he got me for Christmas, was an on-air light, which I thought it would look cooler in the background, and plus when he walks down here, he can still see it and be like, okay, I'll leave him alone. Which means I might leave it on just in case, like, even though may not be live, I might leave it on just so he's like, I'll talk to him later. I'm like, yes, he can avoid me. I don't know what that says about me. Anyway, so with this one, 45, 46, and 53. It's 46. That is the Della. Thing is, I'm always so like delicate with this part, like the snipping. I'm also not sure how deep to go on it. Across the knee. Oh. Alright, so there's 4. So there's 46. Where's 53? Ah. That is the little paw. The paw for 56. Alright, Yuletide, and I'm good. Just buzzed. You just buzzed? Okay, well, it's good to just be buzzed, not totally, you know, sloshed. You're still typing coherently, so, you know, you're doing pretty good. You're doing pretty good. I wish it highlighted the wee little numbers on the sprues. It would have been nice. Like, the thing is, just as something as simple as having, like, the number pop up more on it, like having it a bit more of a divot. That way they stand out a lot more would help, but it could be worse. I've had some sprue kits where there aren't any numbers on them at all. I'm looking at you, Stompa. Not even kidding. When I got my Stompa kit, which is behind me, by the way, that guy. When I got my Stompa, that fucking thing was not labeled. Not at all. Not a goddamn thing on the sprue was numbered. It was one of... it was a guessing game on what... It was a guessing game on what out of that would actually work. So that's 53. Now I need 45. Don't think that's on this one. I can get there. I still got Jack Honey. Oh, okay. So you're going with Jack Daniels. Okay. Don't totally plaster yourself, you know. Okay. So I think that's 45. All right. So I found the right one. There we go. I will say this. I think I get a lot of my hobby energy for stuff like this from my dad. My dad is also a huge, like, has always been big on like assembly kits and putting together small stuff like that. Although we never really did much of that together when I was a kid. So it's interesting that kind of independently from him, I manifested the same like hobby enjoyment for little model kits and assembly stuff. He never got into Warhammer or anything like that level, but yeah, it was always stuff he was interested in. Alright, now the little sanding part, which, by the way, big huge hobby tip for anybody who's, you know, trying to get into Warhammer or similar hobbies: invest in these little sanding sticks. They are super good, and they're a lot better than what's traditionally used in the hobby, which is these nail files. Like, these are good, don't get me wrong. These are great, especially on bigger kits and stuff. But comparatively, it's got a lot less control. And when you're sanding with, like, a nail file like this, it's so much less, like, effective than a sanding stick. A sanding stick will actually move with the grain of the object. They bend without breaking. And they usually come in packs of like 20 or like plus for each type of sanding stick with different grains. So personally, huge hobby tip, especially if you're new to miniature. It doesn't have to be Warhammer or anything, but just miniature hobbying with like plastic minis or similar type minis. Invest in sanding sticks. You can look them up on Amazon. You can get a pack of like 25 or 50 or whatever for fairly cheap. And they're a great investment. They'll last a long time. And again, they move with the mini as opposed to being very rigid and not moving with it, causing, you know, accidentally sanding elements and detailing that you may otherwise have wanted to preserve. So again, huge tip there. Like, seriously, these sanding sticks have totally changed the game for like cleaning up models for me. Because before I was always afraid to clean up my models, like, which sounds weird, but I was always like terrified because I only ever had the nail file, and I was like, okay, if I sand just a little too hard or in the wrong place, I'm gonna lose a physical detail I really wanted to maintain or preserve on the miniature, just to get rid of a little bit of a annoying sprue stick up. So that's why a lot of my older minis actually that are fully painted now have actual elements of the sprues still on them. That was always a bad habit for me. Yeah, by the way, just let me know if the background music gets a little too loud or it's too imposing. Let me know. I do want it to be complimentary, but at the same time, I also don't want it to be overpowering me. So, let me... a little bit of sanding there. I'm too lazy. I just chip stuff off and call it battle damage. I mean, with Space Marines and like other like armored units, you can get away with that. Like that totally works. And for orcs, like if you chip like the musculature on like an orc boy's arm, you can just call it like you just put like blood for the blood god on it after you've painted everything up and be like, all right, it's a battle injury. Like realistically, there are ways to work around damage you do to the model, like to the kit bits. But you know, if you do want a cleaner model that isn't as like gnarled, you know. Like, for example, right there. See that? That is... Let me... Yeah, this is a good example. Right here. Look at that chipping. That is a piece of the sprue that, back in the day... well, this was probably not the best example. This would be easy to clean up with a nail file because it's right on a piece of connecting bit. It's not, like, over... Like, for example, these little screw details. These are things I would want to preserve, and if there were construction material from the sprue left, I wouldn't want to screw with. So, you know, I'd be, like, very nervous to take, like, this flat, big-ass nail file against those bits and risk shaving them off. Whereas with a sanding stick, it can bend around things a lot easier. Excuse me? But with this, thankfully, it's right at the edge of the detailing, and mostly we should be able to fix this without even too much trouble. Yeah. Nice and satisfying. That's what that is. That is satisfying as hell. To me, anyway. See, with these little sanding sticks, you can save so much frustration. See? Pretty much flat and flush. But let me go a little bit further just to make sure it absolutely is flat and flush. Could barely tell the construction material's still there. Obviously, there's still like the outline of where it is. And if I rub my nail against it, I can a little bit feel the cracks. But once that's glued on, you'll not notice that. That's basically going to be non-existent. So yeah, The cleanup process has always been interesting to me. But I've always fought against it before I had like more useful tools like this. Nice and shandy. Nice and shandy for the little bits in there. Yeah, Christmas was interesting. My brother-in-law, who is British, I got him Yorkshire Gold tea for Christmas. Because honestly, it's hard to shop for him because he's it's hard to really nail him down. He's a very old-fashioned kind of guy, and I don't mean like British old-fashioned like inherently. He is a little bit, but it's more like he's like super religious, very reserved with like stuff he does. Like he's honestly, if he didn't marry my sister, I think he'd be a monk with like how little he wants or needs out of life for like materialistic things. And like how directly connected that is, and that aspect of him is directed to his faith, which I respect quite a bit. But by God, it makes it hard to shop Christmas for him. So I knew he loved tea, and I knew, you know, being British, probably one of the stereotypical brands. So I was like, all right, I'll pick you up some Yorkshire Gold tea. And he did like it. He liked it a lot. And I also got him a mug, you know, because he's about to be a father to my nephew, or my nephew to be, and I'm super excited for that. You know, that's coming up. Not till like May though, so right now it's just a waiting game and constantly getting texts from like the family gets texts from my sister all the time where she's like, "Oh my God, this happened, Mom. Is this normal?" And Mom's like, "Yes, it's normal. Happens every time you're pregnant. Stop freaking out." 5 minutes later, "Mom, is this normal?" "Yes, honey, that's normal. Comes with pregnancy." It's funny, but you know, I'm happy to see that growth in her. Still my sister though, so I'm still, you know, still gonna tease her. I still take opportunities to mess with her. Otherwise, the world would feel very weird to me every day. Yeah. Alright, so that's nice and flush. So are those bits. I think we got the construction. Nope, hold on. Still got a little bit of construction material out there in the little orb portion. There we are. It's right. Nice and carefully we put right in there. I haven't checked in a while my local LGS for like the next tournament. I've been like not necessarily avoiding it, but there's been so much going on with Christmas and my work schedule's been kind of hectic, and I've been trying to do videos and stuff. So I really do gotta check in with my local tournament scene and see if my LGS are gonna be hosting one soon. Probably not soon, since Christmas just ended, and the shop owners are probably not gonna want to immediately jump back into that. Well, I could be wrong. I don't know. That's just my mindset. Is like, it's fresh out of the holidays, you know, kind of want to ease back into a normal schedule. And, you know, hosting events like that is good for business, but it's also, you know, you gotta prep out the store for it, gotta make sure all the tables are set up, you gotta do all the organization, gotta prepare the rewards and everything for the winners. I don't know. I think my LGS will probably put off for a little while, but it'll be interesting to see. Alright, so we got that bit. Alright, so that's 46 and 53 and 45. So let me clean up 53. Your Christmas was pretty good. Went up into the mountains to your brother's. To your brother's? Oh, okay. He's a mountaineer, is he? He's not a hermit, is he? Out of curiosity. Not that that's a bad thing necessarily, but like I live in Maine. We have some interesting history with hermits. We had a dude who was like the North Valley Hermit or something like that. And yeah, that guy was weird. wasn't like evil or anything, but he would like go into people's campers and stuff and steal like food. And avoid human contact as much as possible. There was a huge debate in the community for a while. It's like, hey, you know, yeah, should he be like tried for his crimes and stuff? Like he broke in and stole stuff from people. And it's like, yeah, but what he stole was food. Like he stole basic necessities and stuff. It's not like he went into people's houses, stole jewelry or drugs or whatever, and was selling it on the market. Again, though, you know, stealing from people's homes, it's still wrong. Still wrong, obviously. I don't know. For me, it's like he should be punished, but like some people talk like he should get the chair or some shit. It's like he just stole food. And he always like went after like campers and stuff. He knew nobody was home, so it's not like he was trying to scare anybody. So I don't know. Maybe I'm a softie in that regard, but I didn't feel like he got it. I didn't feel like the amount of hate he got was equal to what he did. I can understand feeling violated by the people who own the campers and being like, "Hey, someone broke in and stole my stuff." Yeah, it sucks. I get it, and he should, you know, get jail time, but. Not even 6 months, in my opinion. Like solid 4 or 5 months in jail, tops. And then let him go free. Anyway, totally off topic. Kinda, he keeps to himself, but also doesn't. He is an HVAC tech, but is antisocial. So he's an introvert, you know? Does he do Warhammer? If not, don't introduce it to him, because if he's already an introvert, like a lot of us are in the community, this is only going to make it worse for him. Now he's gonna have even more time to like avoid people and like assemble little models and kits and stuff. I say as I'm doing just that. Alright, so we cleaned up these 3, so let us assemble based on that. Let's go with the leg. So with the knee. That's right. Okay, there it is. Cool. It's right in right there. So that component. Yeah, for anyone curious, this is the flush knee point. Those 2 components, clicks right in. Boom. Just gotta glue that. Well, too late for that. You grow up with it, but went for far. You went far Warhammer while he went for far D&D. I see. Well, those are two feathers on the same bird. If you know what I mean. Doesn't take much to shift between the two. For example, I love D&D. I love D&D. I've been a constant DM of campaigns for years and years. So, I assure you, I know what it's like to jump between those hobbies. I will say, if you want a hobby that you won't spend a ton of money on, do D&D. Because most of D&D, once you buy the booklets and the rule books, that's it. Like, from there, what do you need to buy? Nothing. Like, you don't need to buy a damn thing after you buy the rule books for D&D. And even then, you don't need to buy them. They're free online somewhere. Like, no doubt people have got the PDFs up somewhere. That's a no-brainer. Alright, and... lock the little toes these in. Not sure if I should shift these one way or the other. Alright, we'll do that. By the way, just so anyone knows, I use super glue. I know a lot of people prefer to use like, what is it? Cement glue or plastic glue. It's not really my thing. Wait, what? I the wrong one? Hold on. Yeah, because the thumb one's supposed to be out this way. Based on the image. The thumb's out that way. I must have grabbed the wrong one. One downside with using super glue is you got to be more careful which ones you grab. Oh yeah, I grabbed 54. That could have been bad. I want to set that aside for the other one. It was literally one number off. Apologies on that front. Oh, Pyrrhus, how are you, my good man? I hope you're having a wonderful evening. Alright, now I gotta do the resanding part again. The glorious process of sanding off this material. You ever play the Warhammer Fantasy roleplay? It's like D&D, but D10. Well, technically, there's multiple systems of that. You say the like there's one. There's multiple depending on what you want to do. Like, there's only war, which is like if you want to play Guardsman for like an RPG. Then there's Death Watch for like Space Marines. And then there's Rogue Trader for people who want like a more traditional D&D, but in the 40k setting. With like a lot less restrictions and more freedom to like adventure, so to speak, and go off and do stuff. So there's multiple RPG systems for 40k if you so wish. But my answer to have I done any of them is no. Not due to like not wanting to, more like just not having the opportunity. Again, these sanding sticks are just such a fucking savior. Hey James 9, how you doing? Maulerfiend, not a bad choice for a beast stick. Or a beat stick. I think it's a good choice, personally. I think it's very appropriate for World Eaters, you know? And again, if you guys want to see the image for it, on my Twitter, I shared a picture of like all my total like Christmas haul this year, and again, it's all World Eaters like I wanted. Like I've always wanted to put together a World Eaters army. And it was cool that my family kind of came together amongst each other and we're like, all right, let's get him like everything he might need for a World Eater, at the very least, a good or decent World Eaters army. So they got me a Forge Fiend kit, which again I'm making as a Maulerfiend. That's today's stream. I got Corn Berserkers, a box of 10 of them. I got the Combat Patrol, which has a further 20 more of those. Plus, not a Lord Invictus, I don't think, but an HQ and some Jackals. I got Angron, and I also got Chaos Terminators. And then the Chaos Space Marines Combat Patrol, I have a Hellbrute, which I'm going to make World Eaters as well. So generally, I got a bunch of stuff to work with from the get-go, and to work through and assemble and paint for World Eaters. So it's really cool. It's really cool to be able to do that, and have that, and have all that kind of at once to work off of. And by the time I get through all of that, you know, I'm going to get like Rhinos, Chaos Rhinos, you know, it's very much necessary. I'm going to get Predator tanks, Chaos Predator tanks. I'm going to get like the other extra stuff in time. But with everything that they got me, again, it's just box after box after box. As I was unwrapping my gifts today, I was like, oh my god, you guys just really came to the party ready to go with my gifts this year, which was amazing. So it was awesome. It was awesome. Yeah, I gotta get the 8-bound. That's like that's one thing. That's one set of World Eater stuff they didn't get me, but I think it's at the same time they couldn't find it. But I wasn't too worried about it. My family were amazing this year, and I kind of felt bad because I didn't get as many gifts for them. I don't work a really high-paying job at the moment anyway, so They understood, but it still felt bad. Like, I wish I had been, like, able to give them as much as they'd given me this year. So. But, sticking to the positive, they were awesome. They were awesome. Yeah, actually, just so you guys can, like, see it, because I know I just verbally listed it out, but let me show you guys exactly what they got me this year. Hold on. Okay. So, not including the Maulerfiend, which I'm putting together right now, which, again, they also got me. Well, I'll also show that box just to visualize it. So, got the Forge Fiend box set, which obviously it has the Maulerfiend kit in it. Got a Chaos Terminator squad, which will be World Eaters. Got the Khorne Berserkers, set of 10. The entirety of the World Eaters Combat Patrol. Including all of its goodies. Which is another 20 World Eaters Khorne Berserkers. A Lord on Juggernaut, and I think it's like 10 Jackals. Then ending off with the big man himself, Angron. Just pure World Eaters Christmas. Fuck Sanguinala. I had a bloody red Christmas was my haul this year. Which was, again, it was just unwrapping left and right. I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. It was fantastic. It was fantastic. So now I have everything I need to put together a World Eaters army. So yeah, we're doing the Maulerfiend tonight. We're doing the Maulerfiend tonight. So that's one leg down. The Red Rage. The Red Rage. When I hear that, I don't think of Khorne. Well, I do a little bit, but I think of Sisters of Battle on the monthly Red Rage. Lowbrow joke, I know, but still funny. Tell me it's not. Okay, so that's one leg down. That's the back leg. I'll put the legs on. I'll put the legs together once they're all the same, just to make my life easier. Alright, so now next up. Wait, what? Did I skip a page? I might have skipped a page. No. I didn't show the assembly of these guys. Unless that's right here. Oh, okay, no, never mind. I'm an idiot. They're right there. 66, 68. Be careful with the new Zerkers. They can be fickle when putting together. I guess I'll find out what you mean by that, but I'm assuming what you mean by a fickle as is the points, the gluing points or the assembly points aren't quite flush. Is that what you mean? Or are they in like a lot more tiny pieces? I should do that like before I move on. $42.41. Oh, like it's on the other sprue again, isn't it? Arrgh. Holly jolly Christmas. They have to go where said and are very picky if you want a kit bash. Oh, for like kit bash, but for kit bashing they're picky. Cause me, I'm especially with the first kits, I'm not gonna do too much kit bashing. I'm gonna screw around with the bases, make the bases kind of fun and cool. But for the actual kits themselves, I'm not gonna do a lot of fucky wuggy with them. So, but you know, normally just going by the instructions and actually assembling them correctly, as it were, they're fine, right? I found 66. Blippity bloppity. 68. Down on the whisper. Ah, there's 68. Right in the corner. Check. Snippity snappity, give me my property. That didn't work. No. I gotta come up with a different limerick. That didn't work at all. Snippity snappity, give me my... Yeah, no, no word works with that. Oh, let me know if you guys come up with like a limerick rhyme that works with like snipping stuff off of sprues, snippity snappity, something. Set that down. Sanding stick time. So James, how was your Christmas? Was it good? It was fine. You're just a rebel.
Fair enough, brother. Fair enough. We're all gotta rebel sometimes.
Oh, I'm snapping off souls. Souls. Not really a limerick rhyme, but you know, I appreciate the attempt.
Sure, all that pesky construction material is nice and gone.
Now it looks like I'm giving a pedicure. It's the little fingertips.
Oh my god, darling, what have you done with these cuticles? Oh Lord, I need to fix up your nail. The gentleman at the bar will just look at those and run away, darling.
Yeah, Christmas went well for you. Okay, cool. Got a good Christmas lunch. Love to hear it. Oh, great end to the year. Nice, nice. Yeah, my Christmas was good too, as I'm sure you heard me rant about. But I'm glad it went good for you too, man. You get any good Warhammer stuff, or any? I'm just curious. Mine was very Warhammer centric, but I am a very Warhammer centric person, so that makes sense. So, I did that. It's actually fairly flush. Boom. Okay, that makes gluing much easier.
Come to me, my little super glue friends. Guide me to victory this day.
No, you can do that yourself. What? Get yourself warmer stuff? I mean, well, yeah, but that's like that's literally you can say that with everything you get at Christmas. Like, oh, I could have got that myself. Oh, I'll get that myself. The whole point of Christmas is like the sentiment, though. Like your family like showcases they know and care about you and your interests, and you know it's a time of like the as much as like obviously we appreciate gifts that we actually are. It is stuff we actually want and can't normally afford. Or we don't normally indulge in because our budget is usually reserved for, especially as adults, your budget's reserved for like more quote unquote meaningful stuff like mortgage payments, car payments, stuff like that. So you have less frivolous stuff to pay for. So you end up spending that money on Christmas to get other people gifts. You know, like the whole point of the gift giving is the sentiment of caring for the other person, and through the essence of the gift, you showcase how much you care. You know, like if you get a gift for someone and it doesn't really relate to them at all, it's not gonna be a very good gift on Christmas. So you know, like that's like I know I'm like technically I'm narrating a very well-known fact of the holiday, but you know, like with that though, like it's not really an argument of like, oh, I could have got that for myself or I couldn't have or yada yada. It's crap, I lost my train of thought. I hate it when that happens. Shit. I had a point I wanted to make. Now it's gone. God, you ever hate it when that happens? Like you have like a direct chain of thought. You're like, hey, I have this exact thing I'm about to say. It's gonna be not necessarily meaningful, but it's gonna like actually have a point to it, and then it's gone. It's like, bye. It's like, no, come back, good thought. The answer, truthfully, no. Trying to scale down because I will be moving soon, so building up what I have so far before then. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. You know, you don't wanna increase the amount of stuff you're just gonna have to pack up again soon, right? Makes sense. Alright, so I gotta pull up next. 65 and 67. Okay. And 67. That's 66 right there. I already got that. 60, 65 and 67. 65 and 67. No, 65. Oh, it's the chunky leg. It's the chunky leg.
Alright, 65, here we go. Ooh.
67. Like every other bit, I'm jumping to the other sprue. Ah, there it is.
I found it.
You know what? Vastor could be a good idea for the Wii. The world eaters. Vastor, I mean, he's good for chaos in general, but I don't know necessarily he'd fit world eaters. He definitely would fit Iron Warriors, I think, the best aesthetically. Lore-wise, I'm not sure, but aesthetically, Vastor would definitely, especially with all the demon engines they employ. Yeah, I think he'd fit in with an Iron Warriors Chaos Space Marine army. I think he'd fit right in, or blend right in, I guess would be a better way to put it. All right, let me get rid of the sprue bits here. Fair, but say you get 2 other Maulerfiends, not a bad shout, but I get what you mean. I hear little puttering little feet above my head. I think we have rats in the ceiling or something. And we got cats. Hopefully they'll catch them if they come out of the walls.
Little bastards. I can hear them stuttering about. Bladiful. Bladiful, if I do say so myself. Just get rid of that sprue line right there. That's a super aggressive line. It goes all the way from it now.
You mean another story for Syl for Christmas? I did ask her beforehand. Another one?
Sure, she appreciates it.
What if her wife reads them? Oh, I'll ask.
Actually, I don't know how much Syl's wife knows about our Discord community.
I'm curious about that actually too. At the same time, I kind of probably should leave that one. Well, I might ask still in private. If I ask like on the Discord like general page, people are gonna make like jokes about it for like a week and a half.
I'm sure Phil doesn't want that frustration.
Nice and clean. One tool I probably should invest in is a Dremel tool, because I'm wondering if that would like be like the cleanest way to separate model bit from the sprue. Is just take a Dremel tool right at the edge. Wait, you don't have hobby clippers? What do you mean? You need snippers. Like, this is like a fundamental tool. Do you not have them already? How have you been putting models together? Have you just been taking like a katana and you're like expertly slicing right at the very edge of each of the sprue points? If so, I need to hire you. Make my life infinitely easier. With a box. Oh, you've been using a box cutter? Yeah, no kidding on the Stone Age joke then. Am I doing this right? Okay, there it goes. That's the fitting. I have a harsh line to it though, damn. Oh well. That'll hopefully help it be more flush. A little bit more flush.
Very flush.
I'd put those together to make the arm.
Am I overthinking this? What? Maybe I'm underthinking this. What? Hold on.
I see where it should connect, but
Fafnir, how you doing? Have you seen the upcoming DA models on Warhammer Community? DA models. In the Dark Angels models? I have not, but I can pull that up, I guess. Warhammer Community page. Community. Cool. Latest news and features. Sure. Okay, all news. Angels appear on Christmas Day. I'm assuming that's the post you're referencing, Fafnir? Death. Hello. Belial, the indomitable master of the Deathwing, joins his updated Deathwing Knights with a beautifully reimagined miniature. And they show Belial. He is a grumpy, surly looking motherfucker. Which is very fitting for Belial. Just eyeballing the model. That's clearly not how it wants me to do it. Just eyeballing the model. It looks really good. I don't see, like, just not being too anal about it. I don't see anything that immediately catches my eye as being bad or anything. What am I not doing right here? It feels way too loose, so something's not even clipped in right here with me. But I don't want to break anything, but I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. I'm not seeing from you, my friend. Think about this. Belial is the firstborn model that isn't Primaris, like official chapters, I mean. Yeah, he's not Primaris? I mean, I'm eyeballing the model right now. Really? He's in Terminator armor, so I guess it's harder to tell, but really? Just aesthetically, the model looks good. No complaints there. Oh yeah, that's the kind of the rule of thumb of being a Black Templar player is 90% of it is looking at the Dark Angels kit, like that meme. It's like that meme with the girl and he's looking behind him, you know? And the girl's looking all pissed off and it's like the Dark Angels. Like the girl in this case that he's with is like the official Black Templar kits. And then what like he's looking back on for like the girl walking away. That's like that's the Dark Angels kits. It's like I still want to be Black Templar, but damn do they got a better base to work off of. Let's see. Let me look at the other kits other than Belial's. Okay. They're looking pretty nice. What's the name of that kit, though? Like, I'm not seeing the name. The Inner Circle Champions. Is that the name of the model sets? The Inner Circle Champions? Regardless, they look really nice. Orcs Codex coming out next spring. Yep. I have to wait for that to hit eBay before I'm gonna buy it. Deathwing Terminators, cool. Deathwing Assault box set. That's gonna sell. I'm telling you that right now. That's gonna sell out like that. That shit is selling out fast. So many people have so much nostalgia for the Dark Angels and the Deathwing. That's ooh. Prepare for that one to sell like hot cakes. Even people who don't play like 40k proper are gonna get that kit if they were a fan of the old Deathwing box sets. That's a nostalgia dragger right there. Yep. I kind of want to get it because I like the model. Look at the models myself, but at the same time, I'm not gonna have the cash. That one, my budget's gonna save me from buying because I'm simply just not gonna possess the capital. All right, now let's see if I can figure out what the hell I'm doing wrong here. Why are you not clicking in place here? Wait, if I do it like this. Trying to see if maybe I'm just eyeballing this wrong. Maybe. I really wish the angle they put on the photo was different because that photo does not fucking help me at all. Because it's not showing me where it's supposed to lock into place. At fucking all. It is the opposite of helpful at the moment. Yeah, because it's only showing me the upper view, but it's not showing me. I need to see right there. I'm just trying to see like what am I not seeing? What am I not doing, I should say. What do I loss? Because I could just go like that, I guess, but there's a huge gap. If I do it like that, like there's a huge gap. Like something is. Oh, now it clicks in. I was doing that. That exact same thing. I was doing that. Why didn't it click in before? That is extraordinarily frustrating. Can I repeat that? Yeah, now you click into play. What was I not pressing on before? GW model kits. Number one frustration on the planet sometimes. Not really. There's things like that. Again, this is nowhere near what the Stompa was. The Stompa was the greatest challenge of my puzzle brain I have ever had. The instructions were god-awful, worst angles you could imagine, and nothing was numbered. So, as frustrating as this is, at least it has semi-cohesive constructions. Instructions. Yeah, constructions, not instructions. Right, so that's clicked into place. Boom. This is the back leg. Lock it right there. Little chicken leg. So we'll start going on this side. I'll make sure I'm putting in the right one too. Okay, so we're leaving the middle ones alone. So they found an actual orc to write the instructions. Pretty much for the Stompa, they might as well have, because that shit was chicken scratch. That was I can't. Anyone who, if they ever revise the Stompa kits, I'll be pissed because of all I went through to assemble that one. Like, I don't like if you're an orc player and you are getting into collecting orcs and you want to get a Stompa, do it by all means, but just know it is going to test every little inkling of patience you possess. It is going to push it to the limit. You are going to be pressed to the absolute stretch of what you are capable of doing for patience. It's also going to test your ability to figure out puzzles. Because it in and of itself is the most goddamn extra puzzle you will ever do in your entire life. But when you finish that Stompa, when or if you finish that Stompa, you see it completed, you see it on the tabletop sitting there like a newborn baby doll, and you're just like, I did that. I made this motherfucker. You don't care if you play another 40k game ever again, just the pride of knowing you put that motherfucker together, you will hold close to your heart for the rest of your life. Hey Reyes, well, Merry Christmas, gentlemen. Excuse my late arrival. I was busy with a client. That's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. I appreciate your arrival, but no pressure at all to arrive at all if you don't want to. Yeah, still assembling the Maulerfiend. I am gluing on the back leg. I'm also going to glue on the front arm here. Make sure I got it right. There we go. By the way, tip number 3000, whatever it is. When assembling a model, always do a dry fit first before you ever glue. Like, don't just assume like, hey, this is gonna fit in exactly how I want it to, so put the glue down. Example A. First, oftentimes you want to do a dry fitting to see if the bit or the part will slide in naturally. You're gonna magnetize this block? No, I don't have any magnets to work with at the moment, so no. All these kits I got for Christmas, which were pure. For anyone joining just now, again, I shared it on Twitter, all the pictures and everything. But my family were really cool, got together and got me pure World Eaters sets for Christmas because they knew I wanted a World Eaters army. And I got really lucky with that because, like, they got me World Eaters, Corn Berserkers, Chaos Terminator Squad, Angron, Combat Patrol for World Eaters, which has, on top of the Corn Berserker box set, this has a further 20 Corn Berserkers, so that's 30 in total, plus a Lord on Juggernaut and 10 Jackals. And then what we're assembling right now on stream, the Forge Fiend, or more aptly, the Maulerfiend, which is what I'm putting together. My family got together as a unit and we're like, alright, let's get him all the World Eater stuff. Because he mentioned how much he liked it and would want to get it. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. I got lucky. My family moved heaven and earth. Do it, and I greatly appreciate it. That's part of why I'm trying to get them assembled now. Try and get that momentum going and get them all done. Not rush them, obviously, but get them in the construction process at the very least. Havoc, how you doing? Morning. Happy belated Christmas. Happy belated Christmas. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the stream. I'm putting together this Mauler guy. Alright, 61, 63. Oh, didn't take long to find 61. One, 63. Doing pretty good. As someone who collects chaos, I approve of Maulerfiend. Yes, yes. Maulerfiend is the only appropriate choice for world eaters, in my opinion. Between Forge Fiend and Maulerfiend, Maulerfiend is the more appropriate for world eaters. So that's why I'm going Maulerfiend. Check. 260. Yeah, once this bad boy's assembled, I'm gonna finish painting my Karn model first before I get to the Forge Fiend. But this is next on my list to paint. After the Maulerfiend is done, I'm then gonna move on to the Khorne Berserkers, then the Terminators. I think I'm gonna save Angron for last. He's gonna cap off the army. That'll take a while. Yeah, I got Karn is one I didn't get that for Christmas, but I picked up Karn myself a while back when I was at the hobby store. He was going for like 35 bucks or something like that. I saw him, I was like, I'll grab him. It's part of what spurred me on to ask for like World Leader stuff for Christmas. 260. There's 60. Karn is dope. Yes, he is. He is the quintessential World Eater. He is the man, the myth, the legend. A man so pissed off getting impaled on the front of a rhino after fighting Gavio. Wait, was Gavio Loken? Yeah, it was Gavio he was fighting, if I recall correctly. 62. If you ask me, Gavio got real lucky that there was just a convenient rhino driving up, and that Karn was in such a blind rage he was not gonna catch it. Well, I guess he caught it. It caught him more effectively. Still one of the most unintentional. Well, actually, it might have been intentional, but one of the most seemingly unintentionally funny moments from I think it was Horus Rising that happened in the book. Might have happened in the second book, but in Horus Rising, after Gaviel and Karn are fighting at Isfahan 3? Trying to remember if the drop site massacre I think happened at Isfahan 5. And Isfahan 3 was the betrayal. Like the initial betrayal. I might have it reversed. Might have been Isfahan 5, where all of the loyalists amongst the heretic legions was sent down, and then the planet was firebombed. Galaxy in Flame, was it? Yeah, it was a Land Raider. Thought it was a Rhino. Well, regardless, a vehicle was coming by, and Gavial and Karn were fighting and dueling. Gavial had no chance of winning that fight, cause Karn. So he just tricked him into getting impaled on the front of the vehicle. And as it was driving away, Karn is still screaming in a vile rage. Which was fucking hilarious. Like, it's a really intense moment, especially if you listen to the audiobook. It was fucking hilarious. Because the narrator is so serious, right? Like, the narrator is just seriously, like, regaling this and, like, doing the voice acting for the characters. But all I'm picturing as I'm listening, and I read it physically, but as I was listening as well, is just this Looney Tunes segment of Gavial standing there, like, squaring off. Karn's raging, is raging, like, running at him, like, jumps at him, and Gavial just sidesteps. Karn swings by vehicle, beep, beep, beep. And as it's driving away, like, Gavial just kind of looks, like, as it's going down the road, and all he sees flailing on the front, swinging the chain axe, is fucking Karn, and he's just screaming, Gavial! Oh, fuck. Oh, yeah, Truck-kun strikes again. But Truck-kun's game was off because Karn survived. That, or Karn was so fucked up, him being reincarnated in another universe just wasn't possible. He just got yo-yoed back to the 40k mythos. That was so, it was so funny. Oh, God. Again, it's such a serious moment in the book. It's such a, like this is the betrayal. This is the big, like, turn for Horus, and the true beginning of the heresy, really. Some say it was the drop site massacre. Some say it was back all the way when Horus first got stabbed. Technically, both could be considered true depending on the argument. But the actual proper turn, like the heel turn, to start the heresy was the betrayal at Isfahan. Again, I think it was Isfahan 5. I mean, Isfahan 3 was the drop site. It might be reversed. Either way, one of the Isfahans was the drop site, and the other one was the fire. Well, it was the planet bombardment, which was part of it was the fire. Like the the bombing was in 2 stages. It was the chemical / viral bombs, and then the igniting of said viral agent, which turned the whole planet into a giant ball of flame. Which I still find like it's kind of a writing loophole. With such a powerful weapon, but it's so easily subverted by being in a bunker. Like, yeah, if you just go underground a little bit, you're fine. I always felt like that was a bit of a like this is something so powerful it kills all life. This viral bomb literally melts flesh off bodies. It's that intense of a power. And then on top of it, it gets ignited, turning the whole planet into what was described as like almost the surface of the sun. Yet the way you avoid dying from it is go like what, 7 feet underground? I always felt like that was a loophole. Like that feel like that. I'm sorry, but that's just I'm just giant question mark over my head. Like, that's it? That's all it takes to avoid that? Okay. Like a doomsday prepper would have survived that. Okay, gotcha. Although out of that fucking travesty also came Ryan and shit. So so much good shit from the earlier Horus Heresy stuff. Okay, where was I? Somewhere. I think. Yeah, I was looking for 62. Wait, no, that's 18. 62. Oh, there's 62. Ah, Zoid Industries, how are you doing, my good man? Not going to lie, I wasn't expecting this. It was a hard choice between watching this and booting up my new to me gaming computer to play the Space Engineers. I mean, you can do both. Well, I guess it's not dual monitors, so. I know, you put the stream up on your phone and then play the game on the computer. But since so far anyway, it seems you've chosen me. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for your generous viewership. I feel very touched that I was chosen over a gaming experience. Actually, I have a question for you, Asmogan. I got into the actual tabletop proper in 9th, but I've become a Crusade main. So just to confirm, when you say Crusade, do you mean like the new Horus Heresy game, or are you talking about like Great Crusade, like proper? You're gonna love the narrative stuff. Can't blame me there. The 10th edition Crusade campaign wasn't very good. Oh, okay, so you're talking about the actual Crusade campaign stuff. Okay, the narrative play mode. That's what you mean. Okay, I wasn't sure if you were like, some people refer to the Horus Heresy game as the Great Crusade. I've noticed, and that makes it very confusing when we're like talking about like narrative play versus, yeah, like, it makes it confusing for me. I know oftentimes when I talk to these people, like they know in their head which one they're talking about, so. But for me, I've heard both, so I was just confirming. But okay, but you're talking about narrative Crusade. Gotcha. Very bare bones mechanics. I'm torn between playing 9th Crusade with friends or trying to update 9th Crusade books to 10th. Thoughts? Personally, I'd say do 9th, because 10th, I don't know if they fixed it. I haven't checked the latest FAQs, but with 10th edition, I'm not super pleased with 10th edition. At the moment, I mean, my initial issues with 10th edition all ended up being proven correct. Like, my fear was they were going to try and oversimplify some systems by trimming down a lot of the stuff that they would call complication, but what I would have called player agency from previous editions, including 9th. They did that with 10th. Obviously, I'm getting to just pure game rules. And for me, I'm not a huge fan of... I wasn't a huge fan of 9th or 8th, for that matter. My favorite edition was 6th edition. 40k was like my favorite. That or 7th. I don't know. Between the two, I really enjoyed 6th and 7th. But my bias is trying to keep them out. 9th edition, at the very least, by the end of 9th edition, was a lot more balanced, was a lot more cleaned up, and as a game rule system, was a lot better. And with 10th edition, it doesn't feel like they learned learned at all from any of the mistakes they made from the beginning of 8th or 9th. Like they repeated a lot of the same mistakes, gotten right back into some balancing issues. Again, some of it might have been fixed since I last checked the FAQs, but personally, not having checked the updates of the FAQs or anything like that, and not seeing how much they fixed up since I last checked in, which was a couple months ago now, I'd say do 9th, personally. Based on game rules. Actual narrative play, I don't know. I don't do a lot of narrative play, so I can't comment on that angle of it. Just talking game rules, though, I'd say stick with 9th. Because it's a more complete package that actually, by the end of it, was at least semi-decent. So, I'd recommend 9th. Maybe seeing if older 40k editions or a new war game entirely would be best for the sort of narrative campaign. Yeah, I don't know. I can't. I definitely don't have it within me to recommend other war games for narrative play, because I haven't played. I have played other war games, but I'm not sure. Like, for example, Bolt Action. I played some Bolt Action. I don't know if I can think... Off the top of my head, I can't think of a narrative system in it other than just some basic stuff. Like, between players. I don't know if there's actual, like, narrative campaigns. There probably is, and I'm just not thinking of it. But I'm not exactly an active member of Bolt Action. So, I don't know. Feel free to look into some other ones, but I'm not sure on that front. I cannot help you there. But as for previous editions, personally, 6th or 7th, out of those 2, I would say 6th edition. Check it out. And if you're looking for like narrative play with some solid game rules, yeah, that's me. Alright, do I need to give you a pedicure? No, actually, you're good. Oh, there we go. There had to be some kind of flaw. There always is. James Mackin, good morning. How are you? Have you gotten a chance to play Horus Heresy? Once. I've gotten to play the Horus Heresy tabletop game exactly one time with a lot of unpainted models, which made me fucking tweak. I hate that. Oh, I really like playing with painted models, but most of my Horus Heresy army are still gray. All my painted ones are up there. You can see my Sanguinius, I think. If I move my fat head around. You know, you can see my Sanguinius from here. The wings are... If I'm gonna tweet, you know, if I'm gonna toot my own horn, stick out quite expertly. So, you know, I got to play one game, and it's awesome. It reminds me of the best of 7th edition 40k, which is one of my favorite editions. So, you know, the rule system for Horus Heresy is if you're an old guard 40k player and you haven't been a fan of 8th, 9th, and especially 10th at the moment editions, and you want to go back to an older feeling edition while still getting like so what still feels like some semi-frequent updates, play the Horus Heresy. Honestly, it's a lot better than 40k is at the moment. Certainly narratively, it's absolutely better, but that's a bit of a no-brainer. That is it. Thank you, Peter. Thanks. No problem. No problem at all. And I have my biases. I'm very much like I started playing 40k back at the end of 6th, beginning of 7th, I think. And I got to play a few games of 6th, got to play quite a few games of 7th. Those were my favorite editions, personally. Not gonna make the art claim they were the most balanced. I don't think I've ever played a truly balanced edition of 40k. But I also don't think there's ever been a truly balanced version of 40k. I could be wrong. I've heard people say like, oh, 3rd edition or 4th edition. But you know, having not played those myself, I don't know how true that is. But yes, 6th or 7th were pretty great editions. You really want to get to roleplay some Horus Heresy? Sadly, not very popular here anymore in my area. Yeah, sorry to hear that, man. It's not very popular around. It's part of the reason I haven't been able to play Horus Heresy hardly at all in my area. Is it's not popular either. Everyone around where I live plays 40k. There's quite a few people who play 40k in my area, but plays Horus Heresy or Age of Sigmar or Bolt Action or anything other than just 40k. You're gonna be hard pressed to find them. There's very few people who play outside 40k and my local LGS. Pain in the ass, actually. What time is it? 3:51. Fuck. Let's see if I can actually make some headway here. Dirty. Clean you up, yes.
Gotta sand all the little bits.
I was about to say, I don't think there's been a truly balanced... Yeah, I don't think there ever has been. I cannot think of a single time in all of 40k's history that there has been a truly balanced edition. Not in the sense of true balance, where every faction, like, there's always been a level of, you know, this particular FAQ or this particular update or this particular launch, these specific armies are outperforming everyone else, even for less skilled players. You know, there's always been a favoring of it in the game, and it's not over the last few years. I definitely think it's been intentional, because there's certain like armies or model kits that they're underselling that they want to now sell. It's why the last few editions, each like theme of the edition has been a pairing up of the Space Marines versus insert Xenos faction here. Like 8th edition, if I recall correctly, it was it wasn't Xenos. In 8th edition, it was Ultramarines Ultramarines slash Loyalist Space Marines versus Nurgle and the Death Guard. So that was 8th edition. 9th edition was Sisters of Battle slash Space Marines slash Ultramarines versus the Necrons. And then 10th edition, this latest one, has been Space Marines slash Ultramarines versus Tyranids. And my prediction is for 11th edition, we're probably going to see Space Marines versus either Drukhari or Eldar, or a combination of both. That's my prediction for it, because so far we've been on a Xenos trend. And each of the last few editions have had a theme of Ultramarines versus very specific faction here. Technically, since 7th edition, I guess, was also guilty of that. But yeah, that's been like the theme, and then there's always a box set to kind of go along with it. And I'm curious, what do you guys predict will be 11th edition's pairing? It's gonna be Space Marines slash Ultramarines versus something, so it's more or less just guessing who the second party is gonna be. Dark Vengeance. Ooh, nice. Nice. Some early on kit bashing then there for you. You'd love to see Craft World Edition main. So would I, just because I don't even play Craft World or Drukhari or Eldar, period. But I do highly respect the part of the fan base that are huge collectors and fans of Eldar and Drukhari, and how little they've been catered to over the last 30 years. So I kind of feel so bad for them at this point. It's like, GW, just give them something. Give them something. Give them something, please. They have had dick all in the last 30 years. Even orcs have been updated more often than they have. And listen, I'm an orc player, so I love that, but still. They've been left in the dust. Like, how many, like, by comparison, how many times have fucking, not orcs, but how many times have even the Chaos Marine factions been updated by comparison to Drukhari and Eldar? How Drukhari and Eldar have been, like, whole entire factions have been brought in and had huge model ranges added in the time Drukhari have gotten, like, maybe one notable update to their line in like the last 30 years. Like the Leagues of Votann and a whole range of models for them got released, as well as the Tau, as well as well, the Mechanicus revamp anyway. Like all of them got put in the game with whole new lines, whole new ranges, and just really updated, gorgeous looking models. Meanwhile, Drukhari, Eldar, and Harlequin players are sitting in a corner fucking just depressed. Just like, why? Most of my models are still pewter. The other half are metal. Maybe a third my army is actually plastic. Oh, dear fucking Christ. Like, They have been left in the dust for so long. And don't get me wrong, like a very small minority of the community play Eldar. They are not the like sad. I'm sad to say this, but the fucking Tau are more popular than any of the Eldar factions. And some people would say, you know, that's wrong. Me, I say bite me. Like, from what I've experienced, I've rarely ever seen an Eldar player at my local tournament scene, but I have seen Tau numerous times. I've seen Chaos Space Marines, seen Orcs like my own army. I've seen, I think I already said CSM, but CSM again. I've seen Imperial Guard constantly. I've literally, like, Sisters of Battle, Custodes. I've seen pretty much every other faction but Drukhari and Eldar and Harlequins regularly. I think I've seen one Harlequin player come in, and the guy was like 70 years old. He was like the oldest guy there by far. And I literally, like, I wish I had taken a picture of him, obviously with his permission. But I wish I had taken a picture of him just to be like the average Eldar player waiting for GW to update the model range. And he had a long white beard. He had like these huge spectacles, so his eyes almost looked magnified. And he's just balding up here, and I'm like, dude, I feel for you. He actually did pretty good that tournament, if I recall correctly, though. Like he kicked ass. Which is very fitting.
Yeah, man. Little construction material getting sheared off.
Again, sanding sticks. Huge, good investment. Highly recommend. You find them pretty cheap on Amazon, I'm pretty sure.
Alright, did I get everywhere? I think I did. Yeah, we're good. And you.
Clearly, it'll be Ultramarines versus another Space Marine faction. Well, they could do that. Honestly, for how long it's been since we saw any other, like, Space Marines get the limelight for advertisement for 40k, I feel like if they did that, everybody would be like, alright, everybody support the other faction being displayed. Even if it's like another, even if it is like Dark Angels, Salamanders, Lamenters, fucking Blood Angels, Raven Guard, like literally anybody other than like Space, like the Smurfs, everybody be like, alright, get the model kit just to paint them all, not Ultramarines. Okay.
Nice and fresh.
Nathan, good morning. Please, Lord GW, won't you spare a crumb for Eldar updates?
We're starving out here, my lord. Please, sir, can I have some more?
That's what it's like being an Eldar player. Seriously, like, as an Orc player, we've gotten way more fucking updates than they have. And again, like, to be fair to GW, There's not that many Eldar players or Harlequin players or Drukhari players. There's not. Like, there's more people playing Tau and more people playing Leagues of Votann and literally any other faction. Point to any other faction on the board other than the Eldar, Drukhari, or Harlequins, and they're probably being played twice as much as the Eldar. So, as GW sees it, and this is probably why we haven't gotten that many updates for them, is why would we make updates, new model ranges, and all that for a faction that's not being played? Which, my counter to that would be is like, well, the reason no one's playing them and the reason nobody's putting energy into them hardly at all is because they haven't been updated in 30 fucking years. You release a whole range facelift, and I bet you money the whole range will get a huge uplift in the number of people collecting and picking them up. But no one wants to play the 40k version of Abandonware. You know? I probably beat out the Inquisition players. Actually, that's the thing. I honestly think the Inquisition players probably beat them out. Because they think of it like this. There's a lot of Imperial Guard, like, hardcores, right? And a lot of them also have and collect inquisitorial units to pair with their Imperial Guard armies and ally them in. So the Imperial Guard like stands definitely collect Inquisition en masse as well. And especially since the Inquisition models are all like, you know, the Caluxor's assassin, the Vindicare assassin, etc. Like the assassin ordos and stuff like that. Honestly, those probably, especially with how few models there are for Inquisition, means just that many more are being they make that much more for less the model investment, if that makes sense. Like, they're selling a shit ton of them despite the fact there's a lot less of them. So in combination with those two things, I think Inquisition actually still quite outsell Drukhari, Eldar, and Harlequins. I feel terrible for those players, but I'm being honest. Like, they... Oh god, they might. That's what I'm saying. Crimson Fist re-emerged from Rogue Trader to be in the starter box. Oh, they probably have the Inquisition players. LIRC. Age of Sigmar didn't have the Sigmarine focus, and Greenskins ended up the most popular. Okay, want space elves. Really? Half the people you've introduced to 40k want the space elves. That is interesting to me. I've had the opposite experience. Most of the people I've introduced to 40k, or the very least talked to about it, the faction they're least interested in is the elves. It's like the Drukhari, the Eldar, and the Harlequins. The Harlequins are the only ones I normally get like a double take on. It's like, you know, like, oh, you finish describing the Drukhari, it's like, oh, they're the Wraith elves. Okay. You finish describing the Craft World Eldar. Okay, traditional high elves, but in space. And then you get the Harlequins, and then everyone's like, wait, what? So yeah, they're clowns. But like, you know, like David Bowie from Labyrinth. Yeah, like a whole faction of them. He's like David Bowie from Labyrinth, but even extra crazy. Like half of Harlequins are like Pennywise from It, like hurrah, 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 and then the other half are David Bowie from Labyrinth with like the crystal ball shit.
still? What? I could be wrong, but I'll find out.
Love the colors and the fact they perform basically stage performances while they fight people. And yeah, like that's literally the Harlequin summed up. The Eldar's plotline is also probably the most borked out of the factions. Careful with that one. With how the Yanari plot has gone, what's there to get invested in for new people in comparison to other factions. Yeah, that's kind of in line with what I'm saying, though. Like, it's... The Eldar are very much the forgotten factions. And I say forgotten because, obviously people are going to be super anal and be like, oh, they're not forgotten. Like, I still remember them, and obviously we're still talking about them, so they haven't been forgotten. They're forgotten in the sense that they're the abandonware of 40k, for, like, software comparison, Like, there are people who are fans of them and really like them, but they're kind of like a cult following within the cult following that is the 40k fanbase. There aren't a ton of Harlequin, Craftworld, and Drukhari players. And, the proof is in the pudding for that. Like, obviously I have no statistics to show for my belief in that. I have my anecdotal evidence of, like, the lack of them I've seen at tournaments and lack of them at LGSs. But I've also, I think the only other proof I have is just simply in the fact that GW themselves are not supporting the line. Like, again, with none of the Drukhari, the Craftworld Eldar, their updates have been sparse at best for the last 30 years. Literally, I'm doing that younger person thing where I'm saying literally with everything. But quite literally, every other faction has been updated and gotten a facelift infinitely more than any of the Eldar-based factions. Drukhari, Eldar, Harlequins, doesn't matter. All of them have gotten more updates and facelifts. Some have had entire ranges completely upheaved and replaced. Like, in the time that Craftworld's got maybe one infantry facelift, the half of the Orc line has been completely redone. The Sisters of Battle in their entirety have been redone. The Mechanicus got added to the game and redone. The Tau got added to the game and cleaned up and had new bottles added. Leagues of Votann released and had a whole range to work with. So many factions have had either complete additions or upheavals and replacements in the time it took Craftworld to get maybe one infantry set get replaced and cleaned up since the 90s. It's been that ridiculous. And you gotta feel for the players who play those factions, but the proof is in the pudding that they're not a lot of them. Like, I'll tell you this, the day we know Eldar, Drukhari, and Craftworld are making a comeback is the day GW starts updating the line. That is how we'll know they're selling again. Because GW will actually see them as worth the investment to clean up. That's not the glue is holding. Okay, good. That snaps right in.
Check. Aruba.
Ooh. Excuse me. That's rough, buddy. Yeah, pretty much. Okay. Now for the last back leg. 42, 41, and 54. 40, 42, 41, and 54. Already got 54. 41 and 42. That's weird. That's 41. That's 42. Boom. '11th edition with Craft Worlds versus Drukhari. I don't think we'll get that. Again, it's GW we're talking about. They're never gonna not have the Space Marines be the front cover faction, so it's gonna be Space Marines versus a faction or a combination of factions. So if by that you're thinking, oh, maybe it'll be Space Marines v Drukhari and Craft World. Not necessarily that they're working together, but it's like both of them are the presenting threat of that particular edition. Then that will probably happen, but like have the whole edition be a Xenos v Xenos theme? No, that'll never happen. The poster boy faction are called that for a reason. The Space Marines will be on that fucking poster. They will be in the advertising bulletins, so. But if they could have the Eldar in some fashion be on the front cover of 11th edition when it eventually comes out, years from now, or a year from now, I don't know. At this point, editions are kind of flying by. Pretty soon, 40k editions are going to be coming out as often as WoW expansions. Your question. After the Horus Heresy novels are done... You're funny. You think they're going to stop making them. That's cute. But after the Horus Heresy novels are done, where do you think the book will go? Again, I don't ever see them fully, truly ending the Horus Heresy novels. Because... how many books do we have now? Like 60-something? 62? I know, like, the last count I'm confident I had was 56. There was 56 books at one point. There's probably 62 by now, or something like that. I think that's the number I heard, like, the last few months or something. I could be totally wrong. But, regardless, we have over 55 books of the Horus Heresy. 55. If they intended to end that series... they would have done it at book 10 max. 50 plus books in a single series later, and we're still seeing production of them continue. The Horus Heresy will be continued indefinitely and ad nauseum until 40k ends. There's no way they're ending that series. Not until the point where even they can't justify making another one. And it'll be a long-ass time before we see any kind of conclusive ends like that. So I have no idea what would come after that. Like, after that, I mean, the series is still going. We've had spin-off series. Like, there's the Siege of Terra series. There's the, Imperial Scion books, which are directly related to the Horus Heresy events. Honestly, if they did somehow make it to the end of the Horus Heresy series, they'd probably... just continue. They just dedicate all the... they'd either fire a shit ton of the Black Library writers, or they'd reorganize them all to continue doing one-offs, like Acadia Stands or the Death Watch novel or the Devastation of Baal. You know, like though they'd have them do a shit ton of one-offs. Which I think would have mixed results. Maybe they'd start a new series to do with like the Modern Imperium and like at the latest point in the timeline, but I don't know about that one. Age of Apostasy, unless they already have a book series on Goj Mandar. They don't have a dedicated one. They only have like mentions of it through like codexes and stuff, and like recollections of the time. They don't have like as far as I know off the top of my head, there isn't a dedicated narrative point by point by point like set of books for the Age of Apostasy. I could be wrong. But even then, I kind of don't want them to do that. Like, I don't trust the Modern Black Library to write the Age of Apostasy correctly. Because I definitely fear they would use it as an opportunity to get super fucking political. Especially with the narrative element of, like, Goj Vandire tricking the Brides of the Emperor, which would, with the precursors to the Sisters of Battle, into becoming what they became. And also how it's already in the lore that he... What's a YouTube-friendly way to put this? He encouraged and utilized them in a carnal sense through lying and manipulation. I don't know, YouTube, are you going to cancel me for that one? Is that a PG enough way to describe that? So, I do not trust Modern Black Library to adapt it without fucking with it like that. So I feel like they would take that element of it and they would just turn it into a huge, like, preachy bullshit of, like, feminism and stuff like that via the lens of the Sisters of Battle to be brides of the Emperor and how Goj used them. Again, carnally and also militantly, like manipulation of the patriarchy and stuff like that. I don't trust that the Modern Black Library staff wouldn't take that opportunity to do a very, very heavy, ham-fisted narrative with that. And to an extent, it makes perfect sense to do that in a tactful manner for the in-setting universe to an extent. Like, I'm not saying they are not allowed to or they can't add elements of that into the writing and have it done tactfully and in a way that, you know, like lore focused and hobby focused people like myself would still be able to work with and it feel appropriate for the narrative. However, again, that would require subtlety and that would require everything to be done in the lens of the setting as the setting is supposed to unfold. It cannot be done with any kind of modern lens. And I know for a fact that several Black Library writers that maybe back in the day could have done that can't do that now. So I just don't trust them to do it. So, yeah, I really hope they don't touch the Age of Apostasy. Like, that would ruin so much if they got their dirty fucking mitts on it. Could be worse, you know. I'm not acting like it's the worst thing ever, but still. You think Gav Thorpe could do it well? I haven't read anything he's written recently, so I don't know if he's starting to ham-fist some stuff in. But assuming the last, I read Gav Thorpe's stuff a while back, so assuming his older stuff is still reflective of how he writes now, I think he could do it, yeah. But again, I haven't read any of his recent work, so I don't know if he's starting to sip that shit in. Hopefully not, but. It's way more than I wanted. There we go. Nice sloppy glue. Once that dries, I can then put the limbs on. Honestly, favorite books have still been Cyphus Cain. It's not as heavy on the grimdark, but it also has a sense of logic and lived-in feel to the universe. Cyphus Cain's ones aren't my favorite, but not a bad choice, you know. I respect that one. I respect that one being your intro. I respect that. Still, my favorite book, period, across all of them. I have two, based on different parameters. For the grimdark aspect of the setting, the best book, in my opinion, is probably Deathwatch. Like, the Deathwatch novel is the ultimate grimdark tone setter for the setting. I'm not saying that for like a new... honestly, I don't think a new person should be shown the Deathwatch novel. For two reasons. One, if the new person is young, definitely don't have them read it, because that shit gets dark. Especially towards the end of the book. Like, the Deathwatch novel is fucking dark. So, yeah, for like a new person to the hobby, I think it would be a very strong start to put the Deathwatch novel in their lap. I would start them off with something soft, and then work them to Deathwatch. But that novel is very much a tone setter for the setting. It is dark, and it is grimdark, and you want a taste of 40k. The Deathwatch novel sums it up, in my opinion. It gets fucking dark. But probably my favorite old novel, outside of like the thematics of like grimdark and stuff like that, probably be Flight of the Eisenstein. That's probably my favorite novel in the entirety of not just the Horus Heresy series, but all of the 40k novels. It's one of my absolute favorites. I love the hell out of it. Its pacing is fantastic. The audiobook is great as well. Like, I've read it a dozen times on paperback, but listening to the audiobook as well, like, it's fantastic. So, Flight of the Eisenstein. Absolutely check that one out. That's an easy recommendation for me. So we'll go down. Ah, damn it. Stick, you bastard. Stick. Start reading Deathwatch and damn, yeah, Deathwatch is dark. That is a dark book. Again, not something I recommend for someone who's new to 40k. If you're introducing someone to 40k, put Deathwatch at the back of the list of things you show them. Like, literally anything else is a better starter. But like, work your way to Deathwatch. Like, that's something you work your way towards. It is, whew, it is rough. Is that supposed to be? Yeah, it looks like it. Okay. Yeah, it's supposed to have the claw up. Okay. Ow.
Don't glue me.
Winter Joel, how you doing? Good morning. Just finished building a 4.5 foot dollhouse for your oh, okay. I thought that was leading to something else. I was like, what the hell? I mean, what the heck kind of miniature is that? No, dollhouse. Okay, I was like, okay. 4.5 foot dollhouse for your daughter's Christmas present. I'm going to bed. Good night. Build looks great. Thank you, Winter Joel, and good job on you too. Awesome, and you are a great dad. Get some sleep. You have earned it, my friend. Florian Aishaten. I always misread that, I think. Hey, Florian, please tell me he gets magnets. I do not get magnets. I don't do magnets. I don't know why everyone here does magnets so much. I've literally got like one miniature ever I've magnetized, and I'm not a fan. For me it's another whole thing to like consider putting on that I don't care about. Like I can understand why you would want to magnetize if you're dealing with it, like for example, if you're just doing a magnet under the base, for example, and you're dealing with like a metal table and you're playing with people, or you're just, you know, maybe you have a lot of metal around you when you're at work and stuff, you just want to play with a miniature on like on a metal surface and stuff. If you want to be weird, cool. Or if it's a big like fucking model you're dealing with and you would just want like a huge segment of it can be separated from the rest. So, you know, you just magnetize it on, magnetize it off, magnetize it on. Like Imperial Knights have like the arms magnets because you can have different loadouts. Yeah, I can see it then. For most models, I don't give a damn. Like I'm fine with it being monopose. I'm fine with it being stuck in like a frozen position just in the midst of battle. I'm cool with that. Like I don't see the draw for magnets for 90% of the models I do. Knights are also magnetized. Yeah, I just don't see the appeal. Like I guess if you're approaching your miniatures with the mindset of an action figure, by the way, if you guys are enjoying the stream, make sure to leave a like. I always appreciate the support. But if you're approaching your miniatures like an action figure and you want it to have those opposable elements, you know, if you want it to have articulation, you want it to be able to move around and play around with it, cool, fine, I get that. That's a personal preference, but in truth, you don't need to have like. Unless you're going to, like, tournaments that are super anal about, like, okay, the model has to have this exact color scheme for it to be applicable to this army. It has to have this exact physical, visual loadout for you to be able to play it on the tabletop. But even then, I wouldn't play at those tournaments. I would say fuck you to that tournament and never play there. I feel like, to be that anal about it, it's like, it's the right model. It's in my army. I've had it on the list. It should be fine. You know, like anything visually on the model is what you chose to customize it with. It's not something that sticks though for your games. Like I have a bunch of models that I have a couple Orc Boy models where they're carrying 2 axes. Now, does that mean on the data sheet it's two choppas? No, it's still a choppa and a pistol, even though he's not holding one. Because, you know, it doesn't matter. Like, whatever's on the model is decoration. As long as it's part of the official kits, I don't even care what. I don't even see why GW would give a shit. I don't know. Again, like, for me, I don't really care about the articulation. I don't really, like, I don't play around with them like action figures. So, for me, I don't see the appeal for magnets. Again, outside of, like, maybe, like, at your desk, if you have a desk job and you, like, have, like, I don't know, one of those big metal filing cabinets and you just want to dick around with your miniature when you're bored waiting between like reports or something, and you just like, I'm gonna put my Imperial Guard dude like right on the side here and make it look like he's scaling my my cabinet. I can see it for that, like, so just some personal entertainment. Whoops, sorry, I kicked the camera. But I don't know. That's me. Your FLGS doesn't really enforce WYS. The acronyms, man. and I like the build to look cool. So as long as it's similar model and the right base size, other players usually don't care about that. Same with me, and I think that's 99.999% of players, is you don't give a shit about what visually the model looks like. Like, as long as you establish what your models have at the beginning of the game, so everyone knows, like that, then that's all that needs to happen. It's like, okay, I know what you have, I know what it's supposed to have, you have it written down, it's fine. And you play. Like, no one cares after that point. So for me, and again, like, I don't really have the action figure mindset, so I'm fine with them not being articulatable. Adjustable. I'm trying to dry fit it. There. Too dry. Oh. Yes, the tendrils are going to be an interesting part of this. What time is it? 4:55. Yummy. Do this. Alright, so unfortunately, I have to get some sleep because I have work tomorrow. I might call out, to be honest. Like, I don't know, going to work at the... I went to work the day on Christmas. I worked on Christmas Eve, and... You know, I had a lot of fun today, but I didn't get a lot of free time today to do stuff. And I had the whole afternoon, I guess, but... I don't know, plus, you know, I'm not really feeling it. So I might call out tomorrow, but I don't know, that's probably not it's not the adult decision I should make tomorrow. I don't know. But yeah, it's 4:35 in the morning for me, guys, so I'm gonna have to call it. I know I didn't finish the Forge Fiend like I wanted to, but I'll probably do that in the morning when I wake up. I probably won't stream that. I don't know. I might stream that, I guess. We'll see. I might just zip through it, but I need to get some sleep, or you know, because if I do go to work tomorrow, I will deeply regret it if I'm running on no sleep. So I will call it there, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Hope you guys enjoyed the hangout and the chats. I always love the bants. Always love doing that. And I'll have a painting stream hopefully soon. Either working on the Forge Fiend. I'm gonna finish Karn on my own time. He's almost done anyway. He's got most of his stuff on. It's mostly doing the Rune Lord Brass. That's all I got left. But yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. Make sure to leave a like on the stream before you guys go. Share it around for places, you know, think anybody wants to see it. And I'll catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.